This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Let's go talk about the book we all read.
We already did that. This is Wretched Radio, but I do have for your consideration not one but 4 books you might want to use with your kids regarding the subject of gulp pornography. Many people have asked, how do I talk to my kids? How do I prepare my kids? How do we deal with this subject? Is there a book? Well, it appears that there is. This happens to be a review of 4 different books from one Calvin Gallagher at Reformation 21, citing a statistic that is horrifying. In 2019, the internet's largest porn site, which is, I'm not even going to say the name, received 42 billion visits. Oh, man, Scylla. Who is going to that website? Sit down, Mom and Dad. You could get staggered with this one. The average age at which people first are exposed to pornography is, drumroll please,
when they get a cell phone.
11 years old. I want us all to drink this in for a moment. I want you to think about what an 11-year-old looks like. What would that be, 5th grade?
Yeah.
11 years old? All right, last night you were with 6th to 12th graders. So just think about the face of the 6th graders that you saw. Think about a 6th or 5th grader in your church or in your home, those sweet little faces that are so naive, that are so unable to handle adult things. At 11, these images somehow are making their way into their eyes. And these are not kids that are necessarily seeking it out. It finds them. Sin is like water. It just can't be contained, and it will make its way into any crack. And I'm not suggesting for a second that the kids in your youth group, they're these lusty hound dogs that are like, I want to get out of this class so I can just turn on my porn. No, that it found them. It found them, and it perhaps grabbed them. And they're having to wrestle with these things at such a sweet and tender age. Think about the devastation that is being wrought on a generation of kids. They can't handle it. What makes an adult an adult? Knowledge. What they know. When you start to be exposed to adult things, and there's more than just intimate issues, there are many more issues. That's what makes you an adult. And we recognized historically that you're not able to handle all of those things at a particular age. And that's why you remain a child. We teach kids progressively what they need to know based on what they can handle. 11, they're seeing filthy images. Ooh. Here are the books. 1, tips for talking to your kids about sex. Tips for talking to your kids about sex. Please note it is a secular book, and yet according to this review from Reformation 21, it does align with biblical truths. But you need to know it is secular. It offers suggestions for talking to kids of different ages, from toddlers learning to talk to teens heading for college. Some people wonder, when do I start talking to my kids about these things? According to this book, when they're a toddler. No. Yes, because if you don't, somebody's gonna. And it doesn't. These kids are gonna. They're gonna talk about it amongst themselves. The adults are in the other room having a Danish and a cup of coffee, and they're in a playroom. And you think, well, there's everything is just well with the world. I can hear the little thing above the crib. So nothing could be going on in there. Yes, it could. We need to start early. At appropriate levels, we give them appropriate information. It is a dialogue that takes place to help you dialogue with your kids. Well-researched. It deals with kids, what they're likely to confront. This list is fascinating. Sleepovers for 8-year-olds. Tim Challies would say he got into so much hot water for this. Do you remember when he blogged about not allowing his kids to do sleepovers?
Yeah, I recently was reading about that.
Oh.
They got a lot of slack from parents.
8-year-olds? Oh, yes. 8-year-olds. Not my child. Your child maybe isn't the instigator, but they're the receiver. And they get dragged into these things or conversations or images or, hey, look at this, or did you know about that? there was gentlemen.
Here. Present.
There was an email that we received here, an idea at wretched.org. This was an individual who is a school bus driver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I remember which one.
Find that email, because you're going to hear this and you're going to go, what? What? First grade? You're kidding me. No, not kidding. Dealing with sleepovers for 8-year-olds, puberty for 12-year-olds, sexting for 14-year-olds, and the complexities of relationships for 17-year-olds. I just love that it's staggered. It's not everything at once. It's not all the details. It's enough at their age. At appropriate points, specific suggestions for moms speaking to their daughters and dads speaking to their sons. That's an excellent formula. He writes, I especially appreciated the section on sexual integrity, which shows that these conversations can go beyond awkwardness and serve as inspiring calls to true manhood and womanhood. That is a good positioning of the issue, and perhaps one that you need to consider, as opposed to, dirty bad. We don't want to do that. Sex is a gift. Intimacy is good. It was created by God, given to us to glorify him. It's a good thing. But if we just use it to say it's bad, it's dirty, avoid it, what are we telling the kids? The wrong message. Instead, guess what? Son, I know you know about these things, and guess what, son? When you move from being a boy to a man, and you behave in such a way that a young woman is going to say, I will give my body to him, you will get to enjoy that. Strive for manhood, and I'm going to show you the way. That's a different way of phrasing it, isn't it? It's a different positioning of the issue that I think a lot of us could use. That particular book is called Tips for Talking to Your Kids About Sex. You got that email?
Yeah, Mike? I do. I got it in front of me. She was a bus driver and said, I overheard a first grader talking about having sex and a fourth grader asking her classmate to guess who she had sex with. And she was actually asking, can I continue working for public school systems without being complicit with the sexualization of children? Isn't that like being Hitler's secretary without killing any Jews?
No, it's not. No, it's not. You're not participating. You're not promoting. You're not aiding. You're serving the kids by transporting them, and you could be an influence and you can be salt. Now, the other point, a first grader was saying that. Let's hope it wasn't true.
A first grader with a fourth grader.
Let's hope that is exaggerated, but they're talking about it. And I know for a fact that the bus alone can be a danger. I know it. And I'm not, if you're a bus driver, good on you. You're a Christian, good, be salt, be light. But we need to know as moms and dads, because I remember this. This is one night, our two daughters, the eldest and the middle child, they were going to our local sweet little elementary school. We lived in the burbs. We knew a lot of the teachers. We knew where they stood on political issues. Many of them were Christians. And we felt it was safe because there was no indoctrination on sexual issues. Evolution wasn't being taught. And we felt that it was safe. One night, the girls, I believe it was at the dinner table. If not, if I recall, because this is so many years ago, it was in our family room. They're playing with toys, like a dolly, some sort of stuffed animal, some little child's thing. And one of them said, hey, Dad, what's a blank? I'm sorry.
What?
What? And my beautiful little daughter, my innocent, sweet child, used a word that is, I wouldn't use it today. I wouldn't use it with guys in the locker room. I wouldn't use it sitting around talking about guy things. It was that shocking. And where did we hear this word? You guessed it. It was on the bus. And that is when our kids no longer went on the bus. That decision was made pretty quickly. Your kids are going to get it. You better prepare them for it. Tips for talking to your kids about sex. It gets a thumbs up from Reformation 21. Second book, Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. A simple plan to protect your young minds. Focuses on teaching little children about porn. I thought this was a really good line. It teaches children a simple way to distinguish good pictures from bad pictures and a plan for what to do if they see them. Here it is. Turn, run, tell. Turn, run, tell. Turn the page or turn your face away, run away from it, and tell an adult. That's a good plan right there. That book is called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. Third book, Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, Porn-Proofing Today's Young Kids. What a world we live in. We have to teach our children these things. It's more of a scientific perspective. That's a positive feature of the book. Please note, it can have some therapeutic perspectives, treating things more like a disease instead of a moral issue. Nevertheless, it gets a thumbs up. And finally, from a pastor, Not If But When, Preparing Our Children for Worldly Images. Specifically addresses girls in the first half and boys in the second half. That one is called Not If But When, Preparing Our Children for Worldly Images, because they are going to get hit by them. 4 books. You pick whichever one you think would be best. Get one, get them all. But get into the game and get into a conversation with your child. Sadly, no matter what age they are. What a world. And until tomorrow, go serve your king.
Pepperoni pizza for Pete, which in an odd way is a lot like the difference between imputation and expiation. Are you familiar with the difference, Pete?
I didn't order a pizza?
But it actually in Latin means completely, to completely atone. It's a Latin word, expiationem, and yet an action noun because it comes from the past participle stem of